Ridley Scott returns to sci-fi to ensure that there will never, ever be another Alien vs. Predator movie again. And thank God for him. Hello and welcome to my review of Ridley Scott's new sci-fi epic Prometheus, starring Noomi Rapace, Idris Elba, Michael Fassbender, and Charlize Theron. Prometheus, to keep it very simple, centers on a group of scientists led by Noomi Rapace who go off to a planet far out in the solar system to discover what they believe to be the roots of human life. Upon their arrival, they make a grand, epic, and disturbing discovery that ends up tying into the original Alien film. Or so I'm told, because still up to this day, I have not seen Alien or Aliens, unfortunately. It's just a movie I haven't gotten around to watching. But I really, really want to, especially after seeing this film, because this was a fascinating thrill ride. Yes, not only does Prometheus function as a great prequel, but also as a completely original and fascinating philosophical sci-fi thrill ride. My favorite thing about this movie are the themes that it represents of fact versus faith. You have this very interesting conundrum of essentially Noomi Rapace's character at the center. She's wearing a cross throughout the entire film, and no matter how much evidence she discovers that humanity in fact did not come from a one deity god, she still carries her faith because, in her words, what created the creators. And there's just this excellent dynamic of that throughout the whole film, because you have this character named David, who's an android played by Michael Fassbender, who's dealing with a similar conflict but about the humans creating him. And the paradigm between those two characters is just incredibly played here and makes for some great moral questions. The cast, for the most part, is very good. I loved Noomi Rapace as the female lead in this film. She's a great action heroine, but she still brings a lot of vulnerability to her role, and I love how she brought that to this character, because I feel like that's what a lot of these action heroines are sorely missing. Charlize Theron is good, Idris Elba is pretty solid, but the real standout performance here, by far, bar none, is Michael Fassbender as David. This guy is just a spectacular actor, and I don't understand why he hasn't gotten more recognition. His character in this film is an android, and he's just got this glaze in his eyes to where he's completely humanoid and yet so kind of veered to the left. He's so off in such a non-human way that it's disturbing, and he does an excellent job of straddling that line between human and robot, and the conflict that he has within himself in the movie is by far the most fascinating part of it. I think that Fassbender should receive an Oscar nomination for his role as David, by far. Who should not receive an Oscar nomination is my one disappointing performance in the film, and that is Guy Pearce. Now, I love this guy to death. He's a great actor, but in this movie, I'm not going to say how he comes into the film, because that would be a bit of a spoiler, but let's just say that mesmerizing TED Talk video that I couldn't stop raving about to all my friends, saying, oh, Guy Pearce is going to be the best part of this movie, does not represent what his role in the actual movie is at all, and he's in fact covered with some of the worst old man makeup you'll ever see, and it makes a great actor look absolutely ridiculous. This movie is a visual and visceral masterpiece. Director Ridley Scott helms this movie with such incredible sense of atmosphere and danger and all that great stuff. Just the way this planet looks is earthly and yet off, like foreboding in a weird way. And just the way he frames all of these shots of the planet just look beautiful. He has a way of orienting visual effects to where they aren't the centerpiece of the film. They're just a part of the story. And that is so wonderful to see in a summer blockbuster for a change. Also, his use of visual effects, especially in a sense of gore or to highlight something that's particularly disgusting or disturbing, is unlike anything I've ever seen. He just gets the slightest details with that camera to just make you squirm, especially during one particularly disturbing scene that I'm not going to spoil here, but let's just say it's one of the most incredibly gross scenes you've seen in a movie in quite some time, and Scott relishes in it. I do have one problem with this movie, but it's very minor. It's just that occasionally this movie feels like it lags a little bit under its own weight. I love that this movie's character-based, and I love that there's a focus on exploration. However, sometimes it just feels a little weighty and a little slow, and sometimes I just feel like the first half could have been trimmed just the tiniest bit just to kind of get things moving along just a little faster. But besides that, I absolutely love this movie. It not only makes me want to see Alien, but a sequel to this movie in this universe as well. It's beautifully acted, really well directed, very viscerally and visually interesting, and a great psychological sci-fi movie, which is something I absolutely adore. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 4 just because I don't think it's absolutely perfect, but by all means, you should go seek this thing out. It's fantastic. So those are my thoughts on Prometheus. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can subscribe, comment, request a review, do whatever you want. But until next time, I'm Movie Kid Mike.